last one is...
So we're doing mutant and mutant in this one, right?
So
Yes.
the mutant males are all here,
Okay.
and the mutant females are over here. And there are plenty more.
Right.
Which is the other good thing about fruit flies is that we just have so many experimental subjects that we can...
You don't have to worry about losing a couple. You put this one in this way, right?
I guess so, yeah. You put, yeah, because you're blowing.
They were born and bred inside in the wild.
This one doesn't know how to fly anymore than this.
Well, if it has white eyes, that would explain its defect because they don't have proper vision. So
This thing does not look bad.
it has white eyes. That's probably affecting how it's.
So it's only the white eye on the side. You can see. Only the red eye first.
Yeah, Phil. Go, Phil.
One down.
So, other variables that we will measure are courtship latency, copulation latency, and the success of courtship and copulation. So these are at least a couple of variables that we can extract. There are more, so we could analyze more complex things, but these are the simplest variables that we can actually measure from each single pair of flies. So courtship latency refers to the amount of time that it takes after the introduction of both flies to the start of courtship. So time to start courtship.
Two down.
You've done this before, haven't you, Phil?
Oh, that's what I do on my weekends.
And then copulation latency is the amount of time it takes for the fruit fly to actually successfully mate. They might not, so that value, if they don't actually copulate, would not be 0 because that would mean that they would copulate instantly, but we would just say this doesn't apply. Courtship success means do they court at all? And this would not be a continuous time variable like these, so these would be times, but this would just be a yes or a no, or plus or minus. And then copulation success would just be the same type of variable, yes or no. And as you saw just by observing the experiments we've set up already, some flies are successful and some flies are not. So in this case, with this sample of 3, we would say that 2 out of 3 successfully copulated, whereas 1 out of 3 do not. But in terms of courtship, they're all courting, so we would say 3 out of 3 were successfully courting. And the time variables we'd have to measure.
You done?
Okay, so give them 5 minutes.
Which? Oh, this one's counting down. So this one?
Yeah.
Oh, oops, it's counting up. Oh, sorry. Okay. Does anyone else want to do this? You sure?
Let me just try one. Just one.
Just one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you continue.
So all these computers are
I'll
on
just keep
and
this
active,
piece.
so some people can start doing the analysis of the actual YouTube video on the computer, so you can start extracting the data for the first experiment.
Okay. Just log on to YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the average of the three, like say there were two that were, I'm doing the courtship latency, and I take that number and divide by 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So you measure for each pair, you would measure, and then we would take the average of everyone that you measure.
Okay.
Okay. If you look up Sure 2010 A1, that might do it. Otherwise, I have actually gone up. Yep, there it is. Okay. So in your analysis, you're going to treat each pair as a separate data sample. So I think it's good to probably talk to each other about which pair of flies you're going to measure. You can measure all 3, or you guys can separate how you measure things. But it's important to be consistent about how you're going to measure things and which fly couple that you're measuring. So there's 3 pairs. So make some sort of internal code for paying attention to each one. And when you make your spreadsheet of values, give things code so that you can keep track of the values.
Do you want us to measure all of these as well right now?
Yeah. So there'll be 5 things measured.
Use courtship latency as your total time too in the first equation. Because that's the time to courtship start is the same to the total time before copulation, right?
Time to courtship start would not necessarily be that. Because they could, in this equation, they could start courtship and stop, so this could be discontinuous.
Okay.
And this value would be the same as copulation latency.
So would the total time would be from time 0 all the way always for that one, or would it be between the previous?
But yeah,
Between the previous activity to that one?
this is from time 0 to
Okay.
if they successfully mate, then you just have to use that time.
Right. Okay. Oh, and then for the courtship latency, if they try, if there's, this could be a false courtship one, too. Like they'll try to court, but then it doesn't work, but then they try again.
Yeah, yeah, but as soon as they start courting, then that would be the latency value. Even if it doesn't lead to copulation, it's just another way of representing what their behavior is.
Okay.
Okay.
And it looks like these 2 flies did successfully copulate. Even though they have mutant females, but if the wild type male is there, it seems like he's mating okay.
And that happened
They made it
fairly quickly, too.
quickly.
Yeah,
What time?
it was about a minute.
That group's A3.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, maybe the females, yeah, and then maybe the females had a hard time seeing, which is why they were able to mate so quickly. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.